So a lot of you out there have been thinking about moving to Santo Domingo, but you're not sure where you should stay, how to find a place, or what you'll need to rent an apartment as a foreigner. So today in this video, I'll break down neighborhoods, where to search, and all the requirements that you'll need to rent an apartment right here in the capital city, Santo Domingo, as a foreigner. Let's jump into it. So we're gonna start this off by asking what area in Santo Domingo is right for you. Guys, when I tell you, people send me messages all the time. And I'm gonna tell you, I think all these people are brothers and sisters because they have the exact same message. And it goes something like this. What area should I move to in Santo Domingo? I don't know. I don't know anything about you. I don't know your lifestyle. I don't know your budget. I don't know what you like and you don't like. I don't know. So in order for me to give you any type of information as to where you should live in Santo Domingo, I need to know a little bit more about you, because Santo Domingo is a big city, and each area or size of town or zones or whatever you want to call it, they all offer something pretty much different. So you have to know what works right for you. So let me quickly break down the 4 major zones or areas that make up Santo Domingo. Number 1, Santo Domingo Este, Santo Domingo Norte, Santo Domingo Oeste, and Distrito Nacional. Now for me, Distrito Nacional is the vibe and fit for me because of what I like. It's surrounded by everything. It's more modern than the other parts of the city. It just has a nice vibe and flair to it. Then you got people who really don't care to be directly in the middle of everything. And from there, you go to places like Santo Domingo Este, where you're not directly in the middle of the city, but there are a lot of conveniences out in Santo Domingo Este. I think if I wasn't staying in Distrito Nacional, I would find a place in Santo Domingo Este. I like the Santo Domingo Este area. But if you're one of those people who want to brush shoulders with the locals, live that real authentic Dominican lifestyle, not saying that's not in Distrito Nacional or Santo Domingo Este, because it is, but Santo Domingo Norte and Santo Domingo Oeste offers a more complete experience, shall I say. It's like when you're out in those areas, chances are you're not gonna run into any foreigners out in those areas. Places you go, like maybe the malls or the bars, it's gonna mostly be Dominicans. Places like Villa Mella in Santo Domingo Norte, or, and I'm gonna mess this up, Los Alcarrizos in Santo Domingo Oeste. Those areas are predominantly Dominican. You will probably never run into a foreigner in those areas. You just got to decide what it is that you like. But since I live in Distrito Nacional, I have more knowledge about this area than any other areas I mentioned. Yes, I know places in Santo Domingo Este. I know places in Santo Domingo Norte. I know very little about Santo Domingo Oeste, but I know a whole lot about Distrito Nacional. So the next question I get is, how do you find apartments here in Santo Domingo? That's a great question. So there are many ways that you can find an apartment here. One is through Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. If you get into some of these groups or on Facebook Marketplace, just type in Say Aquila in Santo Domingo, and a lot of owners post their properties in these Facebook groups and on Facebook Marketplace. That's one way that you can find apartments. The number 2 way is through websites like Corotos.com, Mercado Libre, and Encuentra24.com. And on these sites, you can filter your search. That way you don't have to rummage through a whole lot of junk before you find what you want. But I'm also tell you, on some of these sites like this, they're not updated often. So you may find properties that are really, really old on these sites. And another way to find properties, which I think is the best, is just walking through neighborhoods that you want to live in. Because I'm going to tell you, all the inventory that's here in the country is not on any website. Most of the inventory here, a lot of the inventory here is just on the street. You just got to walk around and see. I see for rent signs or Say Aquila every day. When I'm walking through the neighborhoods, I see those signs, and I know they're not on websites. But if you go to the area that you're interested in living in, just walk around that area. You're going to see some signs that say for rent. Get the number, call them, and negotiate a price. And the good thing about doing that is you avoid these real estate or broker fees. You just go straight to the source, which is the owner, because most of the time, or a lot of the time, the owners are renting it themselves. So now let's talk about what are the requirements for you to rent here as a foreigner. But there are a few things you need to keep in mind when you're renting here in Santo Domingo or Dominican Republic in general. I hear people all the time saying it's a scam, why they ask for this. But generally, typically, most of the time, they're gonna ask you to pay 3 months in advance in order to rent an apartment as a foreigner. That's 2 deposits plus 1. So that means if the apartment is $1,000, you're gonna need $3,000 to move in. But you get the 2 deposits when you move out. And yes, you do get it back. I've seen people, I've known people who get their deposit back. We had Airbnbs here throughout the city, multiple ones. And when the guy decided to, not renew his lease, we got all the deposits back. So if anybody tell you you don't get the deposit back, as long as you keep the pace up to standards, you'll get your deposit back. The next thing you're gonna need is your passport. So yes, your passport will be needed. They won't take a state ID or a driver's license, anything like that. You're gonna need your passport. And the next thing you need is proof of income. Yes, they're gonna ask you for check stubs or bank statements that show you have deposits going into your bank account. And another thing is the leasing terms are between 6 and 12 months. Most of the time it's 12 months, but you will find some people that'll do 6 months. I know I get messages all the time with people asking me, can they get an apartment for 3 months? Yeah, you can. Go to Airbnb. Nobody's going to rent you an apartment here for 3 months. They don't want your money that bad. I don't know why people think that Dominicans just want their money that bad. Listen, if they own an apartment, trust me, they don't need your money. So they're not going to negotiate a deal with you to stay 3 months. They're just not. You're going to need to sign at least a 6 to 12 month lease. And here's the last thing that is a big hurdle for foreigners when they want to rent here in Dominican Republic is they ask you for a co-signer or a guarantor, which they call it. And that is very difficult to get if you're not married or you don't have a girlfriend. And if you don't have that guarantor, guess what they're gonna ask you for? About 6 months in advance. And don't nobody want to move into a place and pay them $6,000 for 6 months. I know I wouldn't want to do it. So typically when people ask me this is what I recommend. Find a place you like on Airbnb, rent it for 30 days, and tell the owner, hey, I kind of want to stay in this a little bit longer. Can I negotiate a price with you? And trust me, they will negotiate a price with you. I done told this to, I can't remember how many people, and it worked every time. They negotiated the price, and then they end up staying in a place, and then they renegotiate it to where it's something more reasonable that's more of a average rent that's in the area. Because Airbnb, the rates are a little bit higher or a lot higher if you go through Airbnb for a month versus if you would just rent something month to month or on a 6 to 12 month lease, should I say. So guys, renting in Santo Domingo can be a smooth process once you know what to expect. So whether you want to be in the heart of the action or somewhere quiet with a nice view, Santo Domingo has something for everyone. Let me know if you found this helpful. Drop it in the comment section below. And guys, remember, I have a weekly newsletter called Live Your Best Life newsletter. If you're into money, personal development, and living abroad, this is definitely the newsletter for you. I'm gonna leave that link in the video description below. Check it out. And guys, until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Your Bogota my best life, yeah. Your Bogota my best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Your Bogota my best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing,